Please welcome Sharelynn Moore, Executive Vice President, Chief Business Development and Marketing Officer.
Good afternoon. It is really nice to be here with all of you. Welcome. Well, we have real positive, solid momentum building in our power business. I'm pleased to be able to share with you a bit of our progress, as well as the drivers that are going to continue to fuel our engine, which is our power business, our core business. So with that, I'm going to start with some business highlights. These are the few of the things that we've accomplished since we were together just last year, which almost feels like yesterday, if you ask me. But there's a lot of things moving, and again, these are indicative of where we're also going to continue to see this kind of growth. First of all, in data centers. Data centers is not new to us. In fact, data centers were some of our very first early adopters as customers. What we're seeing today is quite an industry shift where data centers are not getting access to the power they need to expand or build when they need to. You're seeing some of this with the successful wins as you see our business in Oregon. That same large data center customer we're working with in other parts of the nation as well as around the world. We see this only continuing. We've hired a dedicated data center focused team that's been busy out there building pipeline. They're at a data center conference every day, every week, working with customers, and that pipeline's building. So we see a huge pull across segments. This is one of the top segments that we're seeing demand generating out of. The second business highlight is our Korea business. And Greg did a great job walking through the strength of that partnership that's been building. We are the preeminent fuel cell leader for utility scale power in South Korea. Through our partnership with SK, we will continue to retain that dominance as that industry or that market shifts from a portfolio standard, renewable portfolio standard, which was our natural gas fuel cells, as they shift into hydrogen. We're well poised to take advantage of that shift with them as our fuel cells can easily transition into hydrogen as well, including we can also help support new hydrogen generation, such as a project SK announced with us for a nuclear project using our electrolyzers. SK EcoPlant also provides synergy in our business and our go-to-market. We found really great success when they're out moving in the market as such a big organization and they bring us in, as well as when we are working on really large, complicated projects and we can bring them in early. So what we're finding is this better together of wrapping our solutions together has been very successful in a lot of key areas. And so you'll probably see some continued opportunities where we've been able to work with each other and provide additional value through that synergy with our customers. By no means are we only working with SK, but when those conditions all come together, it's a real advantage that we have such a strong partner to work with. The third business highlight is in our waste to energy business. So if you think about waste to energy, it's really two segments for us. So I'll cover the first one. The first segment in waste to energy is renewable fuels or sustainable aviation fuels or biodiesel. In this segment, we essentially are the primary power that can help those developers provide their product at a lower carbon intensity or a lower CI score. One such example is a customer named Hobo Renewable. We're working with them on a large development in the Midwestern United States where we're the primary power to their large renewable fuel biodiesel project. Our power offsets their carbon intensity score, which more than offsets any difference in cost of what would have been just electron to electron. In addition, they're taking advantage of our ability to take the carbon, the CO2, that pure stream that Greg mentioned of 95%, and they're going to be able to sequester that in a CO2 pipeline that's nearby. That only dramatically amplifies that business case for them in choosing Bloom to power that big important project. These are the kind of projects that we see only continuing with so much demand going into renewable fuels. So we're looking forward to being active in this market. We were just at the Biogas Conference 2 weeks ago as a premier sponsor, and this is really a growing market. The second part of the waste to energy business is our ability to take biodiesel and create on-site power. The picture you see there is actually a dairy called Bar 20 in California, one of the largest dairy farms in the western region. They're essentially taking their digested biogas and powering Bloom's Energy fuel cells that's providing resilient power. They're at the end of a transmission line. They've increased the resiliency while they've been able to take advantage of that methane and be able to do something productive with it. This is becoming a lighthouse project. I mentioned being at the biogas event. It's won 3 industry awards so far. And in fact, BBC has featured this project on a very special documentary, and we revealed it, pre-released it with our annual report, but BBC will be launching it mid-June. So we're really looking forward to being a leader in this area as well. So those are 3 business segments that kind of give you a hint of how things are going and moving and being powered in power. So let's take a step back. When we look at the drivers for our business, we have to start here. Through the very best intentions, through the desire to do the right thing, we have to also recognize that the energy transition, even though we've brought on more renewables than we ever have, in fact, in 2022, for the first time, solar eclipsed coal in centralized generation. We're not seeing the results from the energy transition you would expect. For example, our energy costs are increasing. If you're in New York, you've seen 9+% already increase. If you're in California, you're seeing another 5 to 15% is going to increase through 2024. In addition, emissions, surprisingly, are also going up. Not just CO2 emissions, but the NOx and SOx, harmful air particulates, is also going up because more diesel is being used than ever in diesel generating backup assets. That leads to this third point, resiliency. Resiliency is not getting any better. That's why those diesel gensets are firing up. So here at Bloom, no surprise, we think there's a better answer. We're willing to step up and meet that challenge where it is and ensure our products can be an aid or an enabler into the energy transition. Our solution is a perfect bridge to get you from what you need today to what you will need tomorrow. We can meet people's energy needs, our customers' energy needs, with resiliency, with sustainability, with predictability, and we can meet their power needs when they need them, not when major upgrades to the transmission or distribution grid get made. So we call this no excuses, 0 excuses. Let's dig into resiliency just a little bit more, 0 outages. Imagine this. In the case of a major disaster, you get your early warning, and what are you most likely to do? You're most likely, you think you might be hunkered down for a few days, most likely you're gonna go out and secure some groceries and go to the grocery store. Well, what's gonna happen if that grocery store is out of power? God forbid you're in the middle of your grocery shopping and the power goes out, because you're gonna have to abandon that cart and leave. Well, our customer Stop and Shop did something about it. They partnered with us. They have 34 microgridded Stop and Shop stores now, and when the power goes out, their lights stay on, they're able to check out their customers, and they don't have the waste and the spoilage. We've saved them for more than 131 outages across those systems. So again, while other people are out, Stop and Shop is still there to meet their customers' needs. AT&T, not completely dissimilar. There's a large data center that helps keep their cellular lines, mobile phones up and running on the East Coast. We withhold outages with this customer time and time and time again. What would be worse than being in the middle of a disaster and your cell phone can't work for you to check on your loved ones? So this resiliency value, it's not only, it sounds really good, and of course I'm passionate that we can provide such strong solutions, but there's real demonstrable value to the business case that people are going to be willing to pay over and above the cheapest cost of power. They'll pay a premium to ensure that they have the power when they need it. Next, let's talk about 0 risk. There's one thing for certain, what I can say is Bloom absolutely has our goal to keep lowering our costs year over year, just like Greg talked about, 10 to 15%. On the other side of the equation, we know with the investment needed in our grids, which is a good thing, it's the right thing to do, grid costs will only go up. With Bloom costs going down and grid costs going up, if you're a customer that's highly dependent on energy as a key component of your product or your business or your profitability, then being able to secure your energy and ensure you're locked in at a price and a quality that you can expect over a period of time has tremendous value. Predictability, not just in your costs, but predictability in your power quality as well. Another area driving our business is zero carbon, sustainability. There are multiple ways we help customers in sustainability goals. One, we're lower emissions than the average grid. Two, we don't use any water, so we're not wasting any water. Three, we don't emit harmful air particulates like NOx and SOx that we've talked about. Without combustion, you don't release NOx and SOx. Four, with the beauty of having Bloom energy servers, you can not use those diesel generator backups, and you don't fire them up when everyone else is firing up and producing horrible air quality. And last, we're fuel flexible. If you start with natural gas today, because it's plentiful, affordable, and accessible, you're cleaner. But if you want to get to zero carbon, you can migrate or upgrade in your normal upgrade cycle to biogas or hydrogen, or sequester or separate that carbon if there's a market for it or if you have access to sequestration. These are the types of things that we keep adding into our product to ensure we can meet sustainability goals. We can also grab heat and take that heat and reuse it, which takes our efficiency up to 85 to 90% in power and heat, or a combined heat and power application. Ultimately, zero delays. So I mentioned we were working with a large customer in data centers that couldn't get access to power. This isn't a one-off. We're seeing it happen on the other side of the country. We're seeing it happen all over the world. We're working with customers to make sure they get the power when and where they need it. This is also an opening of the door for us to work with utilities. So we're working with a handful of utilities today that are looking to us to help add or bolster their substations, add capacity where they might be short or at the end of lines. Instead of adding transition, they can add Bloom. And three, ultimately using us to serve their customers' needs themselves. So any which way, Bloom's here. We want to aid this energy transition and be there with both our utility customers as well as our commercial customers. To sum it all up, zero compromise. We don't think anyone should have to compromise in this energy transition. Let's make the right decisions we need today. We can offer resiliency, sustainability, and predictability, as well as the power you need when and where you need it. So with that, I'll maybe leave it here and have you hear from a few of my customers.